Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. Once again, I stand before you with a man with a Strat tuned to E flat. What's going on? Today we're going to be looking at the intro to Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix. We're also going to be looking at the first and second verse and the final solo eventually, but alas, let's have a look at the intro to Little Wing. Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is E flat standard, which goes E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and another E flat. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I've got my pointer and my middle kind of doing dampening notes here, and I've got my ring and my pinky on the first and the second string on fret 12. So I'm going to do a dead note strum at the start, and then I'm going to hit that little chord at the bottom. I'm just tensing that on the back stroke. Now I slide that off into oblivion. Now you notice I'm not going like that. When I've had enough of the note, I let go on this hand, and my picking hand just sort of chops in with the palm. And then it has no sort of finite end, as opposed to it going or that kind of noise as well. So moving forward, I want to add an open note on the 6th string, and then I work into this phrase. What I'm doing here is a hammer on from open to 2 on the 5th string, and then playing an open G on the 3rd string. At the end of that, I'm doing a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the 5th string, and then I want to do a double stop on 5 of the 3rd and the 4th string. I do that twice. But the second time I hit it, I do a cheeky hammer on. And that's very, very characteristic of Hendrix playing, having those little double stops. That kind of sound to it. So let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll add the next chunk to it. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm sliding into 3 of the 6th string, and then playing an open G on the 3rd string. You can slide in with the thumb if you want. Then I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is I've got a double stop on the first 2 strings. I'm playing the 3rd fret there, and then I've also got open on the 3rd string. And as I play that chord, I'm going to hammer right ring into 5th fret of the 1st and the 2nd as well. So they're both flat fingers. And I pull that off, and then I'm just going to hit that 3rd fret again. To resolve that, I'm going to play 5th fret of the 4th string. So I've got, hopefully that's making sense. What I've got here, I'm sort of hammering in a major 3rd into a sus4. So I'm playing the 4th fret of the 3rd string and the 5th fret of the 4th. I'm going to go like this. So I'm hammering that pinky in now to the 5th fret. From that point, exactly the same thing twice. I'm going from that sus4 back to the major 3rd 2 times. After the second one, I'm just going to play that G note on the 5th fret of the 4th string. All together. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Okay, let's work through that slowly. This is going from sort of an A position, and then what I'm going to do there, so what I'm doing here is I'm playing 5-7 on the 5th, jumping to 5 of the 3rd, and then back to 7 of the 5th. Altogether, that's going to sound like this. At the end of that, what I've got here, I'm sort of hammering into a power chord. I've got a flat pointer covering 5 of the 3rd and the 4th string, and then I hammer into 7 of the 3rd, and then I'm just going back to that double stop on the 5. At the end of that, I'm just hammering from 5 to 7 on the 4th now, sort of go. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from this A position now. of that, I've got another double stop from 5 of the 5th and the 4th string now, and I'm doing that with the hammer onto 7 on the 5th now. Then I'm going to play an open note on the 6th string and then hammer 5 to 7. And that's all of the first section. So we'll just go from that A chunk, make sure that that makes sense, and then we'll do the whole thing from the start. All right, let's go right back to the start of the section. We'll play the whole thing relatively slowly, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. I'm going to be kind of working around an E minor 7 chord shape. I've got my pointer barring from 7 down of the 5th string all the way to the 2nd, and I'm working into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm playing the open on the 6th string and then 7 of the 5th. And then I'm going to be playing the 2nd and the 3rd string together. You'll notice that my middle finger is holding the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and then I'm doing a cheeky hammer-on pull-off with that pinky to 10. After that, I'm going to do a string skip from the 3rd to the 5th string. At the end of that, let's slow that down. I'm going to play 7-10 on the 5th string, and a double stop on 7 of the 4th and 3rd string. I hit it again, add that cheeky hammer on, and then go back to the double stop. At the end of that, I play 10 of the 5th, and then I'm playing 7 on the 5th and the 4th together now. It's a bit of a weird chord, but it kind of resolves the phrase. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far now from this E minor 7th thing. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I work into this phrase. Alright, let's slow that down. I've just got an octave from a B on the 6th string from fret 7 to 9 of the 4th. And then I'm working into a flat finger on the first 3 strings here. I'm going, so that hammer onto the pinky, it's kind of like a minor 9, something along those lines, like a minor 9th chord. I'm hammering into that 9th fret of the 1st string, and then I'm going to add the pinky and then go back to 9, and I'm hitting all 3 strings throughout all of that. At the end of that, what I have here is back to the flat finger, and then I'm hammering to 10th fret of the 2nd string. At the end of that, back to the flat finger. So let's try this whole B phrase thus far. At the end of that, I'm returning to sort of that middle octave B on 9 of the 4th, and then it goes. What I have here is almost a B flat major bar chord. I'm playing open to 6 on the 6th string, and I've got a dead note, and then I'm playing 7 of the 3rd and 8 of the 4th. So you can sort of gently rest that pointer finger on the 5th string to get that dead note. He may have intended to go, but certainly not on the recording. So if you want to be as true to the original as possible, dead, and then that chord. Let's go right back to the start of the section thus far from the E minor 7 idea. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I work into another kind of A phrase. I'll play this for you and then we'll go through it together slowly. Alright, so I'm starting off from the A note, or it's sort of A flat now, but anyway. In the context of if we were in standard tuning, we'll call it A. Going from 5th fret, I've got a double stop into a hammer-on straight away from 5 of the middle 2 strings, then hammering to 7. Then I work into this. Bit of a stretchy adventure here. I'm playing 9, 7, 5 on the 4th string, all the while still holding that 5th fret of the 3rd string. So you've actually got a bit of a clashing minor 2nd there, but I think it's got some delicious flavor to it. So I've got, at the end of that, what I've got here I'm playing 8 of the 5th string, and I've still got that flat pointer there covering the middle 2 strings. And then I'm going to do the same thing when I take away that pinky, play 7, and then also that flat finger. So all together of this most recent flat A phrase. At the end of that, you sort of hammer this or pluck it. It doesn't really matter too much. I do sort of like the hammer on. I'm doing the double stop again from 5 of the middle 2 strings, and then hammering to that 7 and then going back to the 5. At the end of that, I'm doing a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the 6th string and then sliding off into oblivion. And like what we had at the start, just finish it with your picking hand and that will cut it off. So that's all of the second section. Let's do that again from that little E minor phrase. We'll do the whole thing relatively slowly and then do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so the final section of the intro is going to start off with this enchanting, dreamy chord. He's also got it at the start of Castles Made of Sand. It's at the start of that song as well. So if you're doing multiple Hendrix songs, this might come up. I'm pretty sure Steve Vai uses this chord sometimes as well. So what I've got here, some sort of weird, sassy, 94thy thing. I don't know. I'm playing my thumb on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. My ring finger's playing the 5th fret of the 4th string, which is the octave. I also have an open G, so they're chiming together. I've got this cheeky little power chord playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd and the 5 of the 1st. So we're going to have this. That will all work together in a delicious and magical way. So the start of that's going to be this. So I slide that thumb in from 2 to 3 into that G. And what I'm going to do is play the G on the 4th string and the open G together. Then from that point, I'm going to slide that chord up 2 frets to some weird A thing, and back to the weird G. So I've got, at the end of that, just the root note. At the end of that, so what I've got there is I slide that backwards to the F, and then I'm just sort of hitting those middle 2 strings. The 2nd string's kind of welcome as well, but doesn't matter too much. Just another strum that doesn't involve the whole thing from that low F. This is what we should have thus far from the start. Now, as that chord's ringing, there's this cheeky little lick that's happening in between that. You need to still be using the thumb, and that little hammer-on is happening with my middle finger. So I'm going to hit that F note twice, and then I'm going to do a hammer-on from open to 3 on the 5th string. So I've got, and at the end of that, I'm just hitting that F chug 2 more times. So we've got, hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm sliding into 3 of the 5th string. Sort of got a major 6th thing here going on. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 2 of the 4th string twice. And then I'm playing the middle 2 strings together on 2. From that point, I'm playing 7 on the middle 2 strings with my pinky and my ring, and I want to pull off that pinky so that that will reveal the 5 of the 3rd. At the end of that, so I've got a slide in from 3 to 5, and then I've got a D power chord. So it goes and 1 and 2 and. So I've got 5 strums there. Ending on the upstroke, and then I go to this phrase. Let's slow that down. Got a double stop with a flat pointer covering 7 of the middle 2 strings, and then I hammer to 9. Then I go back to that double stop twice. At At the end of that, I'm going to play 10-7 on the 5th, and then slide backwards with that D power chord again. And that is all of the final section. Let's go right back to the start of this, play it at a gentlemanly pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the intro to Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please click the links in the description box to my Facebook group, my Patreon. And if you want to check out one of my courses on Udemy, I've got one on modes, and I've also got one called Ultimate Shred Machine. And I've recently written a book by the same name. Both courses and books will be looking at legato, shred, sweeping, and tapping, and just really upping your chops in both of those areas. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. Stay tuned for the next few, and I'll catch you very soon.